Okay, I'm a little bit late for my July reading wrap-up, but friends, we are finally here. We are finally doing this, talking about the not many things that I read actually in July. Hello friends, happy Friday. So very excited to finally be filming this video because I just feel like it was really delayed due to getting sick and stress and all of that, and I'm just really thankful to be filming it, not just because I'm finally feeling better, like the iron supplements I've been taking have been a huge game changer. I didn't realize how bad it was until, you know, when you get better, like, oh, that was really bad. But also there is a manga volume in my stack of books that I read that I really didn't like. And for a week after I read this volume, I really debated, did I even want to film this video? So I'm thankful to have the courage, thankful for a friend who talked to me about it, and just be able to share all my thoughts and everything I read. I read 17 volumes roughly. I know that I read, was it Hotori Hote First Kiss? Because I talked about that in my Top 5 Wednesday video of like, if you're short on time, you need like a one shot or a really small series. These are manga I would recommend, but I didn't read all of the stories, so I didn't count it. I feel like I also like flipped through Villains Are Destined to Die and read like my favorite parts. So there were a few things I feel like I did read outside of what I'm featuring today, but just not including since it wasn't from like cover to cover. When it comes to my webtoons, y'all, I read none. Yes, I read none. I don't know what happened. I am still, even now, have not come back and read things like The Remarried Empress is finally off of its break, off of hiatus. Saw a spoiler the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to come back. But I haven't come back and read. I think I'm 2 chapters behind. I don't know how many chapters I'm behind of the other things that I was wanting to read or was reading. So I didn't read any of that. I did read, I know there was a new chapter this month, but I did read before that the latest chapter of I Fell Into a Situationship with the Vampire Count. I was pretty surprised how I felt this chapter was pretty spicy compared to the other chapters. I was like, I mean, they're married, they are married, and it was their first night as a married couple, and there was not much, I would say, left to the imagination. Nothing inappropriate was shown, but just, you know, that's all I'll say. So I was a little bit, like, scared to say anything, because I know I've really hyped up the manga, and I think it's wonderful. I still love it. The latest chapter after that one that I read last month was fantastic. The shenanigans were back, so I'm still really enjoying it, but I was definitely reading it like this. I was definitely reading it like that. So yeah, I did read a digital manga. I read Match You Made in Heaven Volume 1. Absolutely amazing. The hype is so very real for this. I do have a first impression here of not only of Match You Made in Heaven, but also I did 2 first impression videos last month with Match You Made in Heaven, and I think for the very same video, I reviewed Suzuki-kun's Mindful Life, as well as Double the Trouble Twice as Nice. Both of these Volume 1s were definitely my favorite reads of July. I absolutely love them, as well as Match You Made in Heaven. I have Volume 2, and it's just like after talking about that or mentioning them, I'm like, Laura, you need to go read it. But when I got sick, I really didn't read. Like I said, I was going to read Villains Are Destined to Die, the novel, but I had no focus. I did read a different digital series though, so I'm feeling confident that I can read more of Match You Made in Heaven. I need to see if my library has volumes past Volume 2 though, because it was phenomenal. Really, really good. And these were really good as well. This one was just so funny. This one was just so cute, and I felt like Match You Made in Heaven had all of the family vibes. So honestly, all 3 were a huge win for me. And the other first impression video that I did was one I asked you guys to vote for, and we'll talk about that later in my other stack, but when I did the poll, the manga that won was Neighborhood Craftsman. I have the video review here of Volume 1 of this, which was, the art is just absolutely incredible. Of course, I have my Twisted Wonderland boys with Azul here, which I will go ahead and say this was my favorite read of last month. Like, I really was trying to do a shoujo like for all of my 12 months here, but this one broke the rule because I just smiled and laughed so much. Or maybe not laughed, but I smiled until my face hurt. And while there were other really good titles that I read, I just kept coming back to this one. It was just perfect in every single way. I had no complaints. I loved it all very, very much. And so the other one I reviewed during that time, or for that video I mean, is You Can't Live All on Your Own Volume 1. Really wonderful josei, and looking forward to continuing all 3 of these. They were just fantastic. Like, the first impressions I did last month were literally win, 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 win. However many wins I need to do for 6 volumes. I think I did too many wins, but yeah, it was great. So thank you guys for voting. Definitely stay tuned for more first impressions. I am hoping next week, I believe, to have a new one with Mechanical Marie, Villains Are Destined to Die, the novel, and there is one, oh, the Mafia Dating Sim. That is the other one that I'm hoping to review, but I'm not going to talk about these during, like, I guess when I get to my stack of manga, since I have first impressions on these and already talked about them. But I still wanted to mention these because they were all great, and I would recommend them all for different reasons. Like, it was awesome, and I honestly feel like doing the first impressions really helped me to actively read last month. Granted, I did a lot of gaming. I have mentioned that I've still been gaming, but not quite as much. Now I'm trying, since my kids are going back to school, trying to get back into that groove, because next week, yeah, I gotta get back into groove whether I'm ready or not. But yeah, let's go ahead, dive into our stack, starting off with Viz Media's Shoujo Beat. This is the only one I read from them last month, is Taemin's B-Side Volume 8. Fantastic. I was worried if I would love this volume as much as I love the previous volumes, because I did binge read the entire series. I loved it, and this volume I loved as well. There was, once I started reading, I got back into everything. I mean, I like did a refresher with volume 7, but honestly, I don't even feel like I needed to do it. I was fully invested back in Udaji's story with Taemin and everything. Loved getting to know Rentaro, seeing his heart. I was surprised how emotionally moving there was a part, or several parts actually, in this volume though. Taemin having his Yandere vibes. I can't believe that's one of my favorite things to see in the volume, but yes, anytime we see it, I'm like, I'm here for it, buddy. Like, it is such an unexpected part of the plot, I guess you would say, and I really loved it. Loved how this volume ended. Excited to see where this series is going to go now that we've met all of the boys and have like a good introduction of them and like, well, more of like a connection with them. So yeah, I cannot wait for the next volume. I can't remember if I have it on pre-order, but I know it's one I'm going to be pre-ordering. Now we'll go into Kodansha, and this was the very first book that I read at the beginning of last month, and it's volume 4 of A Sign of Affection. Shout out to my friend B. Shout out to my friend B twice, because she's been so patient. I sort of accidentally, unintentionally went MIA on social media, I feel like, for the most part, outside of like mindless scrolling, to sort of, that's all I could commit to, I'll just say, in a nutshell. That's all I felt like my brain could handle. And we read volume 4. We both loved it. Man, it's just so good to be back in this series. I know I did a recent short talking about volume 5. As this video going live, hopefully by this time I've already read volume 5, because this week has been unexpectedly busier than I expected it would be. I'm ready to see what Yuki and Itsuomi are up to. Yes, I have like already read it, but I honestly forgot some scenes that had happened, like the camping moment that happens in this volume. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot that happened. So there was a lot of really, really wonderful moments. I'm excited with how it ended. Like, I know I'm going to enjoy the beginning of volume 5, because there are some shenanigans that are unfolding, and it was absolutely wonderful. The last Kodansha volume that I read that was a lot of thoughts is volume 6 of Gazing at the Star Next Door, and I'll be honest, I didn't like this volume. I did not like the direction, and honestly, I feel like I went through like a horribly bad breakup with this volume. I've never felt something like this. I talked to a friend of mine who has not read the series, shout out to my friend Darcy. I opened up to her, I don't even know how the conversation came about, but honestly, she's like, you know, it sounds like you're going through some grief here, like some stages of grief. Y'all, it felt real. I had a lot of anger, and then I had some crying, and then I just had where I felt like a shell of a person when it came to this series, because I have loved the previous volumes. Like volume 4, I believe, is in my top 12 favorite reads of this year. It is so good, but after I read this volume, I put the entire series in a box of shame. And honestly, it wasn't until I went to film this video that I pulled it out of the box. Well, it was actually in a bag. I don't know what I'm going to do. I genuinely don't. Honestly, my first thought was, I'm dropping the series. I'm really, really upset. Like, I don't know how to go into details without giving spoilers, because they are major at this point. I could say, if you do want to see what my actual complaint was, go to my Goodreads page and go to this manga volume. I didn't even leave a rating for the volume, because I don't want to affect people's enjoyment of this series. Like, I still think it's a treasure. It is a beautiful series. The thing is, I love Chi so much, and I feel like there is there's a foreshadowing that Chi is going to be absolutely crushed, and I don't want to see it. I do not want to see Chi go through what she's going to have to go through. Like, yes, I really don't want to see it for a male lead either, but Chi is special. Chi has gone through so much to get to this point, and I know exactly that I would not have an issue with this volume, that with things that happened at the end of volume 5, that if we had continued what happened in volume 5 and made it go past the opening chapter of this, I would have been fine. The creator could have thrown any challenger my way, any drama my way, any foreshadowing, and I would have been okay. But it was like I'm reading this volume and we get past opening chapter and there's things happening and I'm like, wait, the thing I have been wanting happened. Like, whoa, wait, I'm back here. And I'm literally halfway through the volume and I'm still back in the opening chapter asking questions of how did we get here? What is going on? I feel, what I was going to say before, I feel like if I drop this series, I genuinely feel like I'm going to regret it. I feel like once the resolution happens, then I'll be great. I'll be okay. But I have been really trying to stick to the rule to myself of I have to read what I'm buying. And I don't want to just like buy, because look, I went on K-Manga, I used all my points to read ahead, felt like my fears were confirmed, and I was like, oh gee, okay, great. Like, not happy about that. I even went on, I think it was Bootwalker, to try and see if I could see the opening chapter preview. Man, dessert is just, I don't know if it's dessert or not, because I went to other dessert series and they all are so skimpy with their preview. Like, please, you cannot give me these, oh, I can't show that page, but you can't give me these opening pages right here, which isn't even part of the opening chapter, and then be like, oh, that's it for the preview. You told me nothing. You told me nothing. Anyway, rant aside about that. But I went to the next 2 volumes for the previews, and I just feel like my questions, my worries they're going that route. And so, I don't know. I'm sorry. I keep saying that over and over, and I apologize, but that's where I'm at. This was my least favorite read of July. I have flipped through it, like before filming, and it wasn't quite as, I don't want to say the word bad. It wasn't quite as upsetting as when I read it the first time. And I did, after I read it that first time, I tried 2-3 more times before I put it in the box of shame. Like, I knew everything in me. This isn't a series that I just want to drop at the whim because I'm angry. But these next 2 volumes, if I stick with it, it is going to be hard. And I know I'm going to be unhappy. I know, full stop, like, no, that I'm just going to be angry. I sort of feel like, since yes, I did have a friend ask me, or did tell me sort of like minor spoilers of when that resolution is coming, I don't know if I'm willing to wait, like keep up with the volumes and then just put them off to the side. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just gonna leave that there so I don't keep repeating myself. But yeah, it was a hard blow. And I'm grateful that I'm actually able to talk about it now, because before I just felt like I was not able to, in a way that I felt like wasn't bashing the series, and that was absolutely not what I wanted to do. So if you loved it, because I do feel like everybody's like, it's so cute, it's so wholesome. I'm like, y'all, did we miss the things that happened that were not cute in this volume? How is everybody able to overlook this but me? Like, I feel like I'm the one that's having the problem. I don't know anybody that has felt as strongly as I have, and I'm like, well, you know, I was reminded my feelings are still valid, even though I was like, I'm struggling with that right now. So hopefully, whatever I decide, I hope I'm just at peace about it, and I truly hope that things look up for Chi, because Chi deserves the world. Next up is Yen Press, and I read volume 9 of Honey Lemon Soda, continuing to love this series. I don't love this person and what they're doing that showed up. Like, it was like pretty cool at first, and it was like really sketchy by the end, and then it's full-blown sus, like, girl, get out the picture. Nobody's got time for these kind of shenanigans. But Uka herself continues to thrive, continues to shine. I really liked how, even though I don't like that our leads are sort of separated due to like their class scheduling, I do like seeing Uka be solo in the sense of seeing her shine, seeing her thrive, and seeing her make classmates on her own make that initiative was really inspiring and really cool. Like, I just admire her character so much. But I'm glad that we had some romantic moments. They were super sweet. Seeing Kai sort of outside of his element a little bit and get upset, get jealous, and then be able to figure out things, I'm like, Kai, I'm sorry I ever put you in the doghouse, bud. I'm sorry that I ever did that. So definitely continuing to love this series. It's one that I'm very invested in. Wish they released a lot sooner, because I'm pretty sure, yes, this one ended on like a note that I'm like, Uka better never ever react or be in this situation, period, ever again. I was so upset. Not at Kai. Kai was great in the situation, but it's just the people around her, or the person, I should say, and I'm like, how dare you ever hurt our precious little being of a child? Like, the audacity of this person. So, not gonna say I hope they get what's coming for them, but they better regret what they did. They better regret. That's all I gotta say, because just looking at it makes me sad. Yeah, I definitely got really, really emotional when I read it. So the whole volume was really good. But man, that ending, that was a brutal, emotional cliffhanger of an ending. And you know, it wasn't the next thing I'm gonna read, but let me tell you, the best cliffhanger, the best/worst cliffhanger of the month, definitely hands down goes to In Another World, My Sister Stole My Name, Volume 3. I thought the volume was really good as I'm reading. I'm like, okay, this is great. But y'all, the answers, the things that came out, like, this had me on a hunt to go find out, is Volume 4 up for pre-order? It is not. Is Volume 4 out in Japan? It is. Has the manga updated at all in Japan? No, it has not. Like, it seems like it's on sort of a hiatus of at least a year. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. Like, we ended here, like, I read it before bed, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a chill read. I know I'm gonna love this. I did, but the end, like, I don't even know what I could say, but my friend was like, hey, you're gonna want to talk about what happened. She was right. I said, oh my goodness, I said, I can't believe this is happening. Did you see what just happened? That the things came out, the things I thought I knew, I did not know. It was fantastic, but it's so upsetting because I'm like, I need the next volume and there's no clear answers. And then even when I get the next volume, like, when's the next one going to come out? The twist that it took was fantastic. It was so good. I was definitely mind blown. And even like when I've looked at it, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't see signs that things are happening. And just now that everything's out, I'm like, where's it going to go now? Because I'm like, with that truth that's out there, certain people aren't going to be happy. And our female lead, like, she don't even know what she's done. Like, girl, you did something. Not bad. It's really, really good. But it's like, girl, you did this and you can never undo what just happened. So yeah, it was great. This character here, fantastic. I love them. There was a little minor twist with them, and that was great too. Really, really enjoyed it. I wish Karen would be more upfront about whatever she's going through. I feel like this volume sort of almost made you feel a little bit of compassion. Struggling a little bit with that because she's done some shitty things and just like, she ain't really a likable character. But I do feel like there is something that is happening in this world that is affecting her, that she feels like she cannot be truthful and honest with her sister, which is definitely Ichika here. Her heart's breaking in that sense. And so I wish she would be a little bit more respectfully vocal, not be a selfish girl. So selfish. I'm like, this is why I don't like you, man. Sorry. There was a moment, there was a panel that I was like, oh yes, but brace yourself for that ending, because that ending, 10 out of 10, even though it was like 10 out of 10 for the wait, that there's nothing to come after it. So hopefully something will come soon, because it was really good and I need more ASAP. And the only other Eyes Press, Yen Press style that I read outside of the first impressions that I did was my faves. My Secretly Hot Husband Volume 3. This was fantastic. I love it. I will say that if you read this series on Tapas the same way I did, there is a Eastern themed AU bonus short story at the end. It was good. I was like, Eyes Press, I see you. Like, that was such a surprise. And I love how, like, you got to get the next volume to see how this short story unfolds, which I wasn't upset with that, but I was like, well, now I really want Volume 4. Even though I've read this series, I'm double dipping on it. It is amazing. I laughed so much seeing, what's his name? Bellamere? Is that how you say his name? But he's the, like, greater devil in this series that she is fighting. He looked great, by the way. He looked awesome. I really love his character. I love how he gets scammed very, very badly. Like, I was here for that, but I laughed so much. There's so many great moments of our female lead. There's also great moments like this one. Look at her smile. Also, there were great moments of Erden, of the dragon. Like, all of it was just fantastic. I don't know if I should show this one because that one's a little bit sad. A sad page of Erden. We want happy Erden. You know what I'm saying? This one though. This one is easily one of my favorite pages in the volume, but it was fantastic. Continues to be deeply engaging. Lots of humor, lots of action, some intrigue, some scamming that's happening, which is chef's kiss. I really enjoyed it. So can't wait for Volume 4. Continues to be a fave, hands down. Now we're going to go into my 7C stack, and this volume was absolutely amazing. That's Volume 4 of Reliving My Life with a Boyfriend Who Doesn't Remember Me. I actually just recently reread this volume the other day because I was sort of deciding, is this in my top 5 favorite reads of July? I definitely feel it is. And honestly, I was really surprised when I read this because first 3 volumes, I do have a video review, on this channel. You guys voted for this series in my read and review Shoujo spree, and I loved it. I actually reread the series because of that event. And Volume 4, because I knew the first 3 volumes were super angsty, I was prepared for Volume 4 to be the same way. No! It has some good humor. I had a great time. And I was like, are we reading the same series as we did last time? Like, because it was so, the vibe was so different. Now, don't get me wrong. That angst was there. And that angst was with a certain character that I honestly feel like almost broke my heart more than it did for the main couple, the main leads here. Like, oh, like that was hard. I'm like, please let everything be okay. I had questions because one of my favorite characters, oh my gosh, I can't even think of his name right now, but he is our male lead's, Yes, he's our male lead's best boy, or well, he's my best boy in the series, but he's the MVP, I should say. But the male lead's best friend, like, he did something. He said something. We, the reader, don't know. The characters don't know. But the effect of whatever he said was pretty major, pretty drastic. And it's like, Miguel, that's his name. Miguel, what did you say? What did you tell this character? Because that led to some very angsty panels. I was unprepared because I was having a great time. I was laughing. Like, we're having some really good, feel-good vibes here. Ending, like, there was one moment I was mad at the male lead. I was like, come on now. Like, come on. You do so good. You're being transparent about your feelings, being transparent. You're being nice. Like, it was nice for him to be nice. But then he redeemed himself within, like, a few pages' time. Perfect ending as well, really good. Another cliffhanger, but volume 5, I'm pretty confident, volume 5, I'm pretty confident. I actually already have this one on pre-order from my last order that I did, and I need to know because I was like, what is about to happen? I like our leads are leaning in. I'm like, are we getting some things? We get some things. So it was really good. Continue to love it. So thankful we got this series. It is absolutely amazing. Now, this one I was gonna actually review during or with one of the first impressions, but when I did this one up against Sabered Craftsman, unfortunately didn't win, and that's I'll Forget You Starting Today, Senpai Volume 1. My friend Leela and Marg both inspired me to pick this up. I had some like extra rewards on like a rewards card, I guess you would say. And so I got it for free and I really enjoyed it. It's interesting because if you look at my Goodreads review, I feel like I didn't give this a very strong review. I think it was like 3.5, which may be like a little bit low, but funny enough, I have come back to this volume 2 or 3 times just in the month of July, and I have really, really enjoyed it. It sort of surprised me. I don't feel like it has anything maybe like overly groundbreaking. I don't really know. I think honestly what really hit me is our female lead. I love how she is trying to be true to herself in the sense she's using this dating service. She's trying to find a man. She's trying to honestly get over her heartache from when she was a teenager, where the twist comes in is actually him, but he doesn't remember her. And so as the title says, she's trying to forget him, but things keep popping up and she's really, really struggling. The thing is, makes it worse is he is literally a part of it because he works at the dating service that she's at. He's like the person that does the matchmaking. He says things of like, one thing that stands out in my mind, like not necessarily a bad thing, but he's like, okay, you went on these like speed dates where they're like 5-minute conversations to see if you want to continue to get to know that person or not. I'm paraphrasing there, but like I know it was like a rapid dating kind of style. And they're like, well, everybody felt intimidated by you and maybe you should dress a little less flashy. I don't really feel like she's flashy, but I love the comments she makes in light of what he says of, is it really going to matter if I change who I am, how I dress just for this date, if say they don't want to marry me in the future? And I said, girl, I know that's right, because I love her confidence. Yes, she is struggling, but she was easily a heroine that I could fully get behind. Like, I really was hesitant if I could sort of like support her or understand her of how could she not get over this heartbreak from when she was a high schooler and just not really be able to move on. But how the story was written made perfect sense and my heart went out to her. In fact, I was actually a little bit disappointed by the romance that unfolds near the end because I'm like, no, I don't want that. Like, I know that's what I came for originally, but no. I want to see our female lead continue to grow as an individual and become more and more confident in who she is. That was a really, really cool thing, especially for somebody like me who I feel like has sort of not been quite as confident in certain things and willing to change for other people. So I really love that part of her character. I definitely plan to get volume 2. I already put it on my list to make sure that I get, because I just truly was sort of blown away of how much I kept thinking about this story. Like, it was really good. There was like a touch bit of like steam at the end. Not really sure where it's gonna go, but overall it was a very touching, great first volume. Next up is my faves, Glass of Chance of Delinquent, volume 3. I continue to love this series. It's a favorite. I love it so much. I don't know what reread I'm on at this point, but it was wonderful, perfect. Everything was just absolutely amazing. I loved it just as much as I did read it the first time. I mean, I had a great time. I love seeing Momo and Ishiguro. I love that there's a new character on page and that they are just so great. I love how we have like a school event that's happening. Love how excited Momo was that she ends up like slapping herself because she's sort of like, I love how when there could be a major trauma point that Momo things click and she's like, oh my goodness, I think there's a misunderstanding. I need to clear it up. And that's when she starts realizing like, oh, could Ichikura actually care about me more than I realized? She just smacks herself when running. Her friends are really concerned. Like, is she okay? Do we need to call the school nurse? Momo is classic. I love her. Loved everything in this, excited for the next volume, especially because this volume also ended on a cliffhanger, and there's just so many cute moments that I really, really enjoyed, and just so thankful that Seven Seas decided to print this, because it has been a gem to read every single time that I read it, whether it's physical or whether it's digital, but very thankful that I get to actually read it physically. The last Seven Seas read that I read was volume 1 of What It Means to Be You. This volume wrecked me, honestly, just as much as the first time I read it digitally, though I had not read all of this. There was at least one chapter I had not read. I am like nervously scared to read ahead. I think I am going to continue digitally, not because I dislike the series or anything. And I think even in my Goodreads review, I'm like, I don't know what to say except for this was just very painful, but very, very compelling at the same time. Please be mindful of trigger warnings because I definitely feel like it does have a few, especially with our female lead. And when you find out how they actually are able to, I guess, a gender swap and how that actually takes place. Like, it's not a happy or good thing. While it has happy moments, overall, this is a more sober read, I feel like. Also very thought-provoking. This is going to be a story, I hope, where communication becomes more and more essential, especially with the gender swap, and really seeing where the title comes into play of what it means to be you. So I truly hope everything is going to be okay for these characters. I want nothing but happiness, honestly, for both of them, especially for their relationship and how they're just not seeing things from the other perspective. And I just need the family. Oh my gosh, if that family could just stay out of the equation, honestly. And I think even at the end when she meets this, she goes to talk to one family member and she's realizing even there, it's just not safe, for the lack of a better word. And so, really, really hope for the best, but it's very, very good. I enjoyed it. My heart broke, but it was still like worth it to read this volume. And last but not least, this is a volume by One Piece Books, and I loved it, and that's Topeki Honeymoon Volume 1. I am bummed that I didn't do a first impression on this because this was one of the funniest volumes I read this month. I laughed so much. Honestly, the premise, the story is outlandish. I don't mean that as a bad way, but like the things that are happening because of basically our female lead, I believe her mother passed away and her father is, I don't think he's bedridden, but he can't exactly work. And so she's a strong young girl. She decides to help provide for her family, which is her father and her two younger twin siblings who are both boys. She comes across a event that's happening out somewhere where if you can pull the sword, then you have like a wish come true kind of thing. I think it was. She pulls the sword and they're like, oh, you're the chosen one to marry into this family where strength is very much like the number one thing quality that they look for. The family goes through like such lengths, like of the male lead's family goes through such lengths to get these characters to act lovey-dovey and really be in love with one another. It was just a great time. It is an age gap, so please be aware of that. I was not bothered by it because both of them, I believe she is 18 and our male lead is super respectful, and I loved it. I never knew what to expect next, and see what crazy thing is gonna happen. It was just truly a really wonderful time. I have no doubts when volume 2 releases that I will be featuring in my top 5 most anticipated releases of that month just because of how much I enjoyed it. I've come back to it just to read favorite scenes, have a really good laugh, really rooting for both these characters because you can definitely see, at least from the female lead's perspective, I'm pretty sure from the male lead too, for him, based off that ending, like I would think nothing less that both of them have caught genuine feelings for each other because it sort of goes into a fake engagement of where they're faking it to say like, oh yes, they're gonna get married because he wants his family off his back. And she, and I forgot to mention that, is the thing is like when she agrees to marry into this family, they will pay off all her family debt. And she's like, oh, all I have to do is just pretend that I'm your fiance. Boom, done, sold. But you know, some complications come into that, but that led to a really very sweet moment in my opinion that I really enjoyed. So I loved all of this. I had a good time. It sort of reminds me of Takane and Hana, where it's just so outlandish that you just can't help but laugh. You love the characters, you love the antics, everything about it is just a really, really funny time. I honestly feel like this series has the chance to rival Takane and Hana in the sense of like Takane and Hana is the funniest manga, like shoujo manga, I feel like I've ever read. There's just nothing that has come close to it. But honestly, Tobeki Honeymoon is right up under it right now, to be determined because I gotta read more volumes and whatnot. But yeah, if you want something like that, this is one I would definitely recommend because it's so fun. It is such a fun and feel good time. And overall, as you can see, there were so many different titles I really, really enjoyed, and I just appreciate you being here, listening to me yap about all of these different series. Hopefully I read one of your favorites. I'm really hoping for maybe not the month of August, but definitely September that I will be able to get back on my reading game because I do miss all of my reading. I'm like, my TBR pile is stacking up and I'm like, it's getting overwhelming because there's just so many good things that have been releasing this month and are going to be releasing this month. I'm like, I want to finally read it because some of them were like in my most anticipated releases of 2025. So cheers to a good month of reading. What'd you read last month? Maybe it was one of your favorite reads. Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!